The draw for the opening round on Thursday had just come out. He was talking to Jamie Ware from Sky Sports about the marquee groups. Padraig Harrington would hit the first tee shot at 6:35. Shane Lowry would be out almost 4 hours later with Colin Morikawa and Scotty Scheffler. And Rory would be playing with Justin Thomas and Tommy Fleetwood in the afternoon. I'd sent Paul a message that morning about something I wanted to talk to him about, an interview I hoped he'd do. "You were out early this morning," he said. "Yeah, I went out with Rory at 7:45. "How was he playing?" he asked. "I don't know." "You don't know?" I said, "Paul, you know me. I've never been interested in the ball." Paul, we're here at the Open and we're talking about something that happened 35 years ago. Here in Portrush, you came up, you come back from the US.
Yeah.
From college playing in San Diego.
My first year.
Your first year, and you were playing well, and you came up here in 1990 for the North of Ireland Championships.
I did.
And you played Darren Clarke.
I did.
And you've got some brilliant footage of that.
Yeah, BBC Northern Ireland did it with huge crowds. I think it was a weekend of the 12th, bank holiday weekend maybe, but anyway, it was a huge crowd. Darren was the golden boy. He was a top man, not just in Irish amateur golf, but probably maybe in world golf.
Right.
Dominating all around him, hit the ball like a pro. I just done my first 6 months in San Diego. I came back a better player than I went. Qualified well, 36 holes qualifying, 64 qualify. And then I won all my matches, got to the final, and I'm playing Darren.
All right. And
the local boy.
You were friends. Wait, you were friends before that. We were friends. You were relatives in Dungannon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my uncle lived in Dungannon, and Darren is obviously from Dungannon. And when I played the Irish Youths, which was in Malone, 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years previously, we shared a car up and down from Dungannon each day, save on the petrol.
Right. And he was easy to get along with.
We got on straight away. We had no issues. I mean, we come from very different backgrounds. Darren was a Protestant background from Northern Ireland, and I was a Catholic background from the South. And,
right.
But that was never an issue, and we had a bit of banter and a bit of fun about it, and things were good. Okay,
and then he turns pro, I think, in 1990, just not long after that. You took a little bit longer, was it? A year?
Following year.
Right.
I went back to San Diego that year, and I played another good year, college golf, and came back. And in my own head, if I make the Walker Cup team, I'll turn pro. If I don't make the Walker Cup team, I won't. And back then, it was turning pro was a big deal because you were a pro for a minimum of 5 years. You were out of the amateur game. You couldn't kind of dip your toes in as an amateur and hope you got your card, and if not, you could still play amateur events. So it was a big decision back then to do it. No money, obviously. So it was financially a big decision as well. How was I going to keep myself going with no security around me of amateur golf? Expenses paid, and also my travel and living expenses because, mom and dad didn't have money. So I had a good season. I won the South of Ireland, became the dominant player in Ireland at that time, that year, 1991, made the Walker Cup team comfortably, and called Darren just before the Walker Cup to Dougie Heather introduced me to Chubby Chandler, who was managing Darren, and he wanted to kind of look after me, and we played golf in Portmarnock, and he gave me some insights to it, and I cross-referenced everything with Darren, who was with Chubby.
Right.
And we had a chat about turning pro and what Chubby was like, and all that. Right.
Now you won the what is the Canadian trophy, the World Cup?
Yeah, the World
Cup.
Padraig. Not the Canadian, the World Cup.
But it's the Canadian trophy or something, is it not? There's some Canadian connection with the
Canada Cup. It was originally
the Canada
called.
Cup.
Yeah,
Originally called
the World Cup.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Yeah.
So you won that with Padraig, and as an outsider looking in, people have said, "Well, Paul and Padraig would be pretty close, and Darren and Padraig not so close." Is that a true reflection of
that's
the nature?
True. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Padraig and Darren didn't get on to the same extent that we did.
Yeah.
Maybe that was because Darren saw him as a bigger competitor.
Yeah.
Because
there's probably a book in that in itself.
There is a book in that, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very, very different personalities.
But you two still got on very well.
Me and Padraig?
Yeah, no, you and Darren.
Me and Darren, yeah. And me and Padraig.
Right.
No issues with either of them. We got on great.
Right up to, let's go now to the Seve Trophy in 2011, when you captained him in the Seve Trophy, and then he
was Open champion.
He was Open champion.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had captained.
That was your second Seve Trophy as captain.
Second Seve Trophy, yeah.
And had won both of them.
Yeah, and both of them miles underdogs. And that's where I got the confidence to know that I knew what I was doing as captain. And without those two Seve Trophies, I wouldn't have been in a position, my CV as a captain would not have been strong enough to be a captain of the Ryder Cup. But also the confidence I got from standing in front of your peers for the first time, massively underdog. I mean, we were probably 5 or 7 to 1 to win a 2-horse race. That's how strong the other team were.
Right.
First time I captained against Thomas Bjorn. He had a very strong team, it was continental Europe against Britain and Ireland. He was full of current Ryder Cup players. I wasn't. I think Graham might have been a Ryder Cup player at that time, GMAC, and Rory was just coming through, and he was on the team too.
Right.
So they were my best 2 players, and the rest were just young, guys coming through, British and Irish guys from the European Tour, and we won them. We won easy against a team we should never have won against, and but I felt like I had everybody firing. They really enjoyed it. They said nice things about me afterwards, and I really was into it, and I loved it, and they did well. And then Jose Maria Lazabal came in as captain, and he gave me another run at it. And this time I went in. I had Poulter on the team, I had Westwood on the team, and I had Darren, the current Open champion, on the team. So I had a bit more of a team. We played Jean van de Velde's Continental Europe, who were strong. This time again we were underdogs, and again we ran out comfortable winners. So that's when I really felt like
you had a shot.
I know
you wanted
this captaincy thing, and I want to have a go at it. Yeah.
At Gleneagles in 14, which was coming up.
Yeah.
And initially, Darren wasn't interested in running himself.
So Darren was Open champion that year. So he was Open champion in July. Seve Trophy was September. It's in Namur Betesh in Paris. Darren wrote me a letter afterwards, which is really unusual for Darren. Anybody knows Darren. Darren doesn't do letters.
Yeah.
And he wrote me a letter after, a personal letter, just saying how much he enjoyed playing for me and how great I was as a captain, and really enjoyed it. And in his view, I'll be a great Ryder Cup captain, and I've got his full support.
Right. And when did that change, Paul?
The mood music changed a little bit kind of 9 months later, when we were all vice captains to Jose Maria at the Miracle in Medina.
Yes.
And I could feel there was a bit of a division behind the scenes. In the captaincy place, there was Thomas Bjorn and Darren, who seemed to be aligned, and me and Jimenez.
In terms of the decisions you were making, or?
Yeah, just, being challenged at meetings.
Okay,
and just, they were offish towards me and Jimenez. It was kind of unusual, so it was a bit strange. And there was certainly, there seemed to be, wasn't an animosity, but there was certainly a little bit of a, we weren't all in it together feeling. It was kind of strange. But I kind of ignored it and put it to the side of my head.
Right.
We had enough on our hands trying to win in America, and we were getting beaten.
Right.
And things weren't going well. Medina was, chaos behind the scenes. We were struggling as a team. Jose Maria was struggling to get the players together, to get a vibe going. We weren't playing that well. We had a few players that were tired out. Luke Donald in particular was tired out. He was our best player because he played so many events in the weeks before that. America were absolutely firing. They had a home crowd behind them, and it was a battle. We were in a dogfight, and it wasn't seamless at all behind the scenes.
Right. Now, at what stage then does Darren change his mind and decide that he'd like a shot at this himself? And how did you hear about it? That's more as interesting.
I stand corrected on this because it's hard to remember everything, but I'm pretty sure it was in Portugal about a month after that Ryder Cup. The American Medina were playing the Portuguese Open, and there was a press conference where Darren put himself forward to be the next Ryder Cup captain, which kind of out of the blue, because he'd never mentioned it to me, because the last I heard, he was endorsing me, and And I was the favourite. Everybody in the media had put me down as the favourite. The players had talked about me being the next captain. And, you know, in a lot of ways I was looking forward to it. I felt I'd proved myself. I had done two runs at this Seve Trophy. And Darren did a press conference, and it was followed with some strong words from Lee in his favour, who was, you know, one of the top players in Europe at the time. So, and I knew that, you know, Darren was a big figurehead, and he would have had a lot of support in the media as well too. And he fit the prototype as, you know,
major winner,
big guy, big charisma, big stellar name.
Okay.
And America had already put in Tom Watson as favourite.
Right.
And Lee's view, which he went public with, was that, you know, if they got Tom Watson, we need somebody with a big reputation and stature, and Darren was the guy.
Right. And how did you feel about it, Paul, initially?
Oh, gutted. Absolutely gutted.
Right.
I mean, I really thought I was going to be captain, and you know, coming off the excitement of winning a Medina, I thought that was going to be the next one. And then when Darren went, I knew that there would be a lot of support in his favour.
Right.
I wasn't quite sure where all the players would sit.
Right.
But as I spoke to each of them, or they reached out to me, I slowly formed a really strong opinion that, you know, basically everybody bar Lee was in my favour from that team in Medina.
Right. And was that did he get I mean, I suspect that was his decision. That was the reason why then that he took the decision he wasn't going to run, that he wasn't going to beat you.
Yeah, it played out for a few more months yet. It played out in a few more months, and then again, a little bit out of the blue. I mean, it looked like you know, the cards were falling in my favour, and you know, I was confident again that it was going to happen. And if it was going to be a vote, that I was confident that I could win that vote, because I knew I had support of the players. And in Europe, the players have always been a big voice in who the next captain is.
Right.
Unlike in America, where PGA of America kind of make the decision. In Europe, it's a European tour, but it's the players. The players have the biggest voice. The players committee at that stage, so the 15 guys who represented the 150 guys on tour, they ultimately had the vote, but they garnered opinions from the other 150 guys, but particularly the ones who were in situ as current players.
Okay.
And that would form their opinion as to who would be the next captain. So I knew I was in a good place because of that.
Okay.
And Darren obviously saw the writing on the wall and decided to back out.
Then something else happens. Colin Montgomery out of the blue decides he's going to have a crack again. He wants another crack.
Mm.
And then Darren decides he's going to back Colin Montgomery. Not only has he withdrawn, but he's going to back Montgomery against you.
Yeah, and that really surprised me.
Right.
You know, whatever Darren's reasons were for going, because he never explained them at the time, and you know, we went through a period of not speaking while all that was kicking off.
Yeah. From
From being good friends to, you know, not speaking at all, kind of passing each other and barely just nodding acknowledgement. That was it. So it was a big thing in both of our lives at that time.
Right. Now, I'm one of these people that thinks, or that is of the opinion, that forgiveness is overrated. That's not something we share, because last night we were on the set of live from the Open, the NBC show, and the guest was Darren Clarke, and you were sitting beside each other on the set, and as an outsider looking in, you would have never have suspected there was any issue between you, that you had remained best friends for the 35 years. Now, you've put a bit of work into that. That didn't just happen.
No.
After what happened in...
No, I mean, look, Darren made the decision. Then he backed Monty, and then it went to a vote of the players' committee, and they overwhelmingly put me in as favourite. I became captain. It went well. Darren wrote me a letter of congratulations and a letter of regret about how he'd handled things the previous year. Talked about our friendship over the years, and that, you know, he was out of order, and he really regrets, you know, what he did and why he did it, and he wasn't thinking straight, and you know, he might have got some advice from that you know, he took that he shouldn't have taken.
Right. Because it did hurt him in terms of, you know, within the game, people who knew the game.
Yeah. It was surprising. It was surprising because we were such good friends.
Yeah.
And you know, it was in his right to go if he wanted to be captain. I didn't have a right to be the Ryder Cup captain. And if it was going to go to a vote, you know, I would take my chances with it.
Right.
But anyway, he decided to do it without talking to me about it, which was a bit of a strange one.
Right.
But anyway, look, it happened, and we
Was the
went straight.
letter? Was the letter enough? That's the was the letter of regret enough for you to say, oh, okay, well, he's,
I know what Darren's like. I know really well what Darren's like, and behind it all the gruffness and the charisma and the happy-go-lucky guy, there's a deep person in there, and I knew that letter was genuine,
right.
and I knew his regret was genuine.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's accepted straight away, and it took a period of time for bridges to build, and they slowly did. And where are we now? What did you say? We're 10 years later? Are we more? 11 years later?
11 years later,
so
yeah.
It took a while. It took a while, and we've been through a lot. We lived together in Sunningdale. We played on tour for 30 years. His wife Heather passed away. We're great friends. Our kids were great friends. We've got old and grey now between us, and it's.
Well, I think did not say on the set last night your hair is still the same colour.
Yeah, no, I wish it was.
Paul, thank you.
He likes to give a bit of a ribbon. All right, yeah.
That was wonderful, Paul. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and we're more than looking forward to the start of play tomorrow when Darren will be teeing up again.
Yeah, Darren loves golf. He's playing well. He won a few weeks ago on a Champions Tour. He's got. He always said to me way back. He says, when I get old, I'm going to retire and I'm going to live in a little hut in the middle of Donegal somewhere where nobody's going to bother me. And we started laughing at that because everybody thinks a big charisma, Darren. He's going to live in New York City or LA or somewhere and live the life.
Right.
But that was Darren. He wanted to kind of shrink away somewhere into the sunset. And to some extent, he's done that. He lives over now in the Bahamas, on a tiny, tiny island, not in the main island, in a tiny island. Where he kind of fishes and goes to bed early and practices his golf and then goes and plays the Champions Tour.
Right.
So coming back to Portrush is a big deal for him to have 2 Open Championships that he's been able to play in at Portrush. And you're right, he opened up by saying the link all the way back to 1991 when we played that North of Ireland final. And I guess both of us have come a long way since then. Him in particular being Open champion.
Paul, thanks very much.
You're welcome, Paul.